Hello, everybody. Welcome, Corey.
What's going on, everybody out there?
Oh, just wait. I got to go into my Facebook and set it to public. Now I remember. Uh, Here we go. Edit privacy. Public. There, we should be good now. Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody write a comment there.
StreamYard. They made their own comment.
Anyways, what's going on, man? Happy Sunday.
It's a good Sunday. I can say that at least.
What'd you do
not
today?
been too good. Fixing everything I tore up yesterday. If they say you can't almost cry from watching an RC car barrel roll, then they haven't seen me.
Yeah, well, I ripped the whole front end off my Audi yesterday.
Oh, purposely or not purposely?
Nah, I was pulling it out of the trailer and the starter was dead on it. So I hooked the side by side and just gave it a tug, like far enough away. And as it was backing out of the trailer, the airline to the front bag broke and friggin' ripped the front end off on the ramp. And then ripped the heat exchanger off. Oh man, I'm telling you, I was in bed till about 11 watching TV. I went and did that, and I literally went right back to fucking bed. I was like, fuck this.
That's that sign. That's just one of them days, like, at that point.
Yeah.
Like, a whole lot of nope, not today.
I'm smiling now, but I still want to throw my laptop through the window.
Oh, that's how I was yesterday when we were racing, and that was the first time I did bracket racing with the RC stuff, and I cut a 007 light on the guy. I've got him dead to rights, and I see he's covered, so I'm hitting the brakes on top end so I don't break out because I was holding a few numbers, and I gave it back to him at the stripe, and the margin of victory was 0.0001, and I'm like, God mighty. That's one of the moments. It's like you couldn't even see it. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Back to the buyback window.
I don't know. I asked my buddy there. I actually asked a couple people. I'm like, man, have you been on edge lately? They're like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's because we're almost close to race season, but we're not. You know what I mean? We're like right there. So it's just like we want to get to it for the summer, but
and that's like I've been at that point, and then
Madison,
finally
Indiana.
Let's see. Oh, I gotta see how I see comments. Oh, there we go. I had it on the wrong thing. See, I've never did it on this side.
Welcome.
Yeah, no green screen tonight, Alex. That's in the other room. But yeah, dude, I got up at 5:30 yesterday morning. And it was a 3.5 hour ride to Shadyside, and I rolled in last night about 10:30. Dude, I laid down. I watched TV, I think, for about 5 minutes, and I was gone. I was like, but good day. Getting productive, at least.
It's good. It's good.
So,
well, actually, Chris, what happened was I gave you your shit back, and then Mike borrowed one, and then you left. And then when I got home, I realized Mike put your weight in my trailer. So now it's my possession is 9/10 of the law. Thanks.
No matter what country it is.
Yeah, no matter what country. come get it.
All right, but yeah, I took 3 cars yesterday. 2 came back in one piece, and 1 came back in pieces. So that's what I've been working on all day, and just kind of learned what I needed to learn yesterday. So now the one that came back in pieces, since it was tore up anyways, well, it's getting rebuilt for something else. So
yeah,
but the RC stuff. I'm telling you, it's as bad as my older actual race cars and doing shit like that. My street cars.
It is.
But like you're saying, dude, right on the edge. Like this weekend actually kicks off my full blown schedule. So we've did a couple of races with like breaks in between through the winter time, but I'm booked from this weekend till second week of December right now. So
right on.
Dude, I'm stoked. I'm ready for race season.
Oh man, I was and I'm not at the same time.
Well, at least I get to kick off. I get to kick off this weekend. I get to go hang with Limpy and them. So in Georgia.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't have my passport back yet. I just renewed it, so I'm just waiting on that.
Oh hell. See, I've never been out of the country. I've never done anything. I don't even know how half that even works. So I'm just.
I could probably get across because I've crossed so many times with my license and birth certificate, but I'll just wait for my passport. It makes it easy.
Like it blows people's minds when I tell them like the furthest south I've ever been is South Georgia Motorsports Park. The furthest west I've been is Happy's, and the furthest north I've been is New York City. I've never been anywhere else. There's enough racing in that little general vicinity. I'm good. Yeah, which I am expanding this year. I'm expanding this year.
Are you coming to my race? October?
I'd have to actually look. I can't remember if that's the same weekend as if Happy's got something. Somebody's got something in Kentucky. I thought I had to be at.
Oh,
I have to
we
look.
got lots of time. I ain't worried about it.
Oh, dude, I've got so many plans this year. It's just kind of crazy between looking at moving and still keeping the racing schedule going and everything with that. So everything like I've got it scheduled, like wrote down, and then we'll get about halfway through it, and I'll be like, all right, now let's switch this. We're going to this now. It happens every year. It's just promoters decide they want to put events on no more. So now I'm looking for an event to fill. That's the fun part about the media side. It's kind of unpredictable as hell, honestly. Even though I start out with a schedule, it usually, I want to say, changes 4 or 5 times at least between the first few months.
For sure. I could see that.
Like at first, I was like, I didn't know if I was going to get to go to Texas for Small Tire Gangsters, and now Houston's going to go down there and race. So I'm like, gang, all right, I'm riding with you, man. So, and I've always wanted to go to Yellow Belly, so that's going to be net.
When is that again?
April 12th and 13th, I believe.
Oh, I got that wrote down on my calendar here.
And what's crazy is like the monthly pro mod race, Big Dog Shootout, I usually cover. Their season opener is the 11th, and I know we're already going to be on the road. So I was like, I got to miss that. But, dude, it's like, this may be my only chance in life to go to Texas, knowing me. So I got to take it.
I wonder if I know anybody else going down. Maybe I just fly in and go down for the weekend. It's too long of a drive to go try and race. You know what I mean? But
I know Limpy's flagging. Then you'll have Poland and Jimmy Dale's event, so they're there. I'm rolling with Houston. I talked to Chris. I don't know. Chris had mentioned about riding down.
Yeah, maybe I'll talk to him. He's not far from me, so I could just drive to his house and then go down.
And what is it? Chris is about 4 hours north of me, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hell, I got to figure out how, because we're going to be taking with Houston's car and trailer. I got to figure out where I'm going to throw, because they want us to do live feed for that. So now I got to figure out, all right, where am I going to throw all this live feed gear? Where am I going to throw my regular gear and all this? And I was talking to them. I said, I don't know if I'll run a top end camera, because I know Limpy didn't have too much luck with his top end camera down there. So it might just be a single zoom in and out type deal on that live feed.
Yeah. Honestly, I liked when you used to do that. Your old videos.
Dude, I love filming from the starting line, anything. That's where I love to be at filming. I've filmed down track a bunch. Truthfully, the only reason I film, like, take Dig or Die, for instance, the only reason I film down track there is it's just too crowded on the starting line. There's too much. And it probably blows people's minds to know this, because I'm always around. Like, I used to like do these big road races and stuff. I'm always crowd. Dude, I can't stand being like crowded. Like having all those people around me, it kind of like, So, like Dig or Die, like, and that's another thing. Nobody gets that perspective of the video down there. I'm the only video guy down there. Everybody else is on the start line. So it's kind of give a different perspective. You know, somebody wants to see that end of the video, because the very first time we went to Rockingham for Dig or Die, I filmed on the starting line, and at least 70% of my footage, you were just looking at smoke, because nobody knew how to tune for that. So it was a smoke show the whole way up, every pass.
Yeah.
That happened, I think, 2 or 3 that I went to, and then I was like, man, I'm going down track.
I mean, us guys like to see the down track one, so you can hear how high your car's revving at the end, you know?
Oh, and And that's, dude, the only places I filmed down track is there. We did 64, and the only other place I really filmed hard down track like that. Well, I've been starting to do big dog because, dude, those pro mods coming by at 200, 300 foot. That shit's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but the only other time I ever did it was when I worked for Hans with Free Life Films and for the South Georgia races. And that was like kind of because I'm on a ladder filming, and then you have Steve Jackson flying through the air by me. So it's kind of one of the moments you're on a ladder and a car is completely off the ground flying by you, and you're kind of like, did I make a good decision doing this? But
are you streaming too? So on your end, if you go up to the top right there, you see where it says stream or something?
I don't think I have that.
Yeah, you should. If you have a stream, you got a StreamYard account, so you should be able to.
That's kind of weird. That's not giving me.
Here, let me see.
Yeah,
it's good. You got permission to do it.
I know it might sound crazy to a lot of people, but I really, really, really don't know what I'm doing half the time with this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You taught me how to use this, and that was it.
I showed you the basics. Like, all right, this is what I know.
And I'm still on the basics. I know how to get it started, but I know when I log on with you, just right at the top right, it's like it has your name up on the left. Right across on the right, it'll say like add to YouTube or Facebook or something. No, like when I'm on your live feeds.
That's weird. It's not giving me that.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't have a premium version like you got. It does say you have permission to do it, but
are you using the regular version or the like? I know they got 3 different steps. You got the Pro, the Standard, and then the free regular version. Which one are you on?
That's a good question. I think I paid for it, so it must be the Pro. But
I don't know.
Let me see if I can tag you in this.
Something I always got to learn. Like this, I did that bracket race a couple weekends ago, and I did my live stream actually through StreamYard for it. And dude, it was awesome. And I loved how doing it. Like every live feed, I want to do it through StreamYard now. I know I'm not going to be able to, but that's probably going to be the goal, is to do it through StreamYard because it's just so much more simple. And I think StreamYard actually pushes it to more people than what the YOLO box does with their software.
For sure.
And now that I'm on Pro, I can go to 8 different accounts, so we can stream Spoold Media live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that, TikTok. If we want, I don't know anything with an RTMP, I can. So that's
like I got it on Facebook and YouTube right now, live streaming.
Okay.
I don't know how to get any further than that, but
I've got, because I'm over so many accounts on Facebook. I just log in. All right, send to that account, send to that account, send to that one. And it sucks because I didn't realize I could send out to even more than what I've been normally doing. And or I would have plugged it on Shady Sides. So when I did their stuff, but yeah, I seen Rye's video on that. Rye's one of my good buddies, and I can't wait to actually see it because I want to try it. I think it's going to be something pretty crazy once we're able to really take advantage of. Like a lot of the classes I run, I can't take advantage of that, what he's doing, because it has to be a full stock pan. You can't chop nothing up like that. You can't do anything like that. But I want to try it, like, just to see what improvements it will do. Yesterday, I had so many wheelie problems and stuff. Like, with what we're limited to do, it's pretty much, today I rebuilt shocks. I'm taking the gearing, I'm changing the gearing because I had too much torque in the gearing. So I'm actually going to put my gearing more towards speed instead of torque off the line.
So what do you do? Less teeth, more teeth? Is that how that works?
With the spur gear, I'm going to go with less teeth to get more mile per hour. So so the closer your spur and pinion gear are together, that's for mile per hour, the further apart your torque. So I had it set up yesterday with a 90 tooth spur and a 26 tooth pinion, and dude, it had all the torque I wanted, but it was just too much. It was creating too much wheel speed off the line. So I'm going to calm it back down with I'm going to try 84. And if that's still a little too torquey, I'm going to go down to a 76, because that was the only thing that sucked. Even on my clean pass, I lost 5-6 mile per hour from the last time I ran it, but I was actually faster on ET. So if I can get my mile per hour back up and get dude, it was riding a wheelie for 100 foot. Is what it looks like. Like it was just banging it, trying to get back down. And then in the finals, it dug so hard into a wheelie, it was carrying it out, and you could actually see the car shaking the tires as it was carrying the wheelie. And I was like, it's either going to set it down and go straight, or it's going to dart. And latter of the two, it ended up darting and crossing the center. So that's how I lost limited streak yesterday. Bracket racing finals, it was all my fault. I went red. So I jumped. So there's one on me. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna actually try to mix some of that in my scheduling this year too. I don't, as much as I love going and filming and doing that shit every weekend, I really like doing racing of my own, and that's the only type of racing I can kind of do right now. I've looked at cars. I've wanted to get into another car, but dude, it's just too much right now. I don't want
to. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I've had the racing bug for 2 years now, and I've wanted to get back into.
I'll tell you, if I could trade it, if I wasn't so heavy into what I'm doing, like just tuning and business in the race, I would honestly just go to side-by-sides.
Dude, I miss my side-by-side too.
Man, that thing is so fucking fun all the time.
Like, dude, where I live at too, especially, I could literally raise my garage door, ride my side-by-side out down the main road for 5 minutes, and I'm on trails. I mean, and what's cool is they're expanding now, even on the Hatfield McCoy trails down here more. So it's growing even more. I mean, they just put in.
Do you have to have a trail pass?
Yeah. Out of state's a little more expensive. In state, we get a break on it. But the thing is, like, I've got Hatfield McCoy right here. I've got the Outlaw Trails, and now I've got God, I forgot what the Virginia side calls theirs, but it's called the Pocahontas system, but I can't remember what their main name is of the trail. So I've got 3 major trail systems literally within a 10-minute drive.
Is it like trails or just like mud bog trails?
It's everything. Like you got riding trails, you got hill climbs, you got mud bogs. Like there's been times, God, we crossed the creek one time, dude. I had water, and my Razor it had 3-inch lift on it, everything snorkeled, all that. Dude, I had water up to here on me, going through it, and I was like, just keep trucking. Dude, the first time and what's crazy about that same hole, I took that thing when it was bone stock and hit it because I was like, oh, it can't really be that deep, dude.
No, it's always deep.
Yeah, it was deep. I had to get pulled out because it stalled about halfway through. So my dad backs his down, throws the tow rope, and I just grab it. I just put it on the something, whatever it could hook onto. We get it pulled out, and he pulls me up, and there's a little restaurant right there on that trail. And dude, we've got the clutch case off. We're drying everything, doing everything we can just to make it go again. Yeah. So finally did, and got it going. And I was like, all right, let's just avoid water for the rest of the way.
I put a little groove in my secondary clutch from water, but I was by myself that night. So it was like, I was like 5 feet short of getting to a tree for the winch.
Oh shit.
So I was rocking it back and forth. And then of course water got in the box, and then, you just hear that little screech. And when I went home and drained it all and pulled it all apart, there's a little groove from the belt in the aluminum. So
that's the thing, like the case.
It hasn't screwed it.
I didn't understand why Polaris on like those cases, they didn't put a better seal on them from what it was from factory. Like you literally take everything out, finally get to it and take it apart, and you're like, this is supposed to be an off-road machine. Come on, guys. Mm-hmm. So we sealed it off really good, and then like after that was before I had my snorkels and everything. I had snorkels on order, everything. I was like, not taking that chance anymore.
Yeah, I mean, snorkels on mine.
That's something I always tell everybody. They always would ask, what's the best first mod you would say? I say snorkels, just for a simple fact of even if you're not lifter or this, anything gets in those, you're screwed.
So, snorkel and a rad relocate kit for an X3.
See, I never
rad out of the front, man. I went for 3 rides with that thing, and every fucking time I'd have to pull over, and it was just overheating. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting the relocation kit.
I had one of those. God, I got it off of Amazon. Pretty much like it's the electric driven. Like it looks like a suck pump into like a water hose in, and we would stop in like places right beside creeks, and I just like if we went through a lot of mud or dirt or something, just wash it back out. And I never relocated my radiator, but that was always something I thought about doing. But
that's a good idea, even if just washing the window and stuff.
yeah, oh, dude, those things were worth their weight in gold. Just
I didn't even think about that.
What was funny is I started out when I first did it, I had my old garden sprayer that we used to put glue in. And oh yeah, I'll just put water in this and I'll take it. Well, we sprayed it once on the windshield and I was like, man, there's just something on this windshield that is not funky. And I was like, what could oh shit, it's where we had glue in that. But I was last minute prepared, so that was the best option at that time.
Yeah. I got this little Milwaukee 6-inch chainsaw that I bring with me, and that thing was a lifesaver sometimes.
Oh, that's if you ride down here, that's something I always like. I had my box in the back, and we had a little bit of everything. We had one of those, just anything in case you had to cut a tree or something was stuck. Like the Hatfield McCoy trails, they keep pretty maintained. Just because if you're paying for the pass, they gotta do something to make sure it's good. But when you get on the outlaw trails, none of that shit's maintained. So you don't know what you're going to run into. Like one of the cool ones is like we had to cut some stuff and move it out of the way, but you go up and it's an abandoned mine shaft and you can walk inside of the mine shaft a little bit. But after you get so far, the water gets too high. You don't want to really go no further back. I mean, there's a goldfish pond, wild horses are on one of the trails. I have had bears roll in front, like baby bears, like I'm coming down the trail and you watch baby bears like rolling in front of the trail, like going down the little hillside. And I'm like, oh shit, gas, mom's got to be on its way. I do not want to meet eye to eye with a bear.
break a belt, right? Smoke your belt right there.
My luck.
Yeah, that'd be my luck too. I'd be like, fuck. I guess the new Can-Ams, my buddy was just saying I think they're 2024s.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have belts anymore.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like an actual gearbox.
Oh, that's a good.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I've been looking at the. I ain't buying it. God knows, I ain't getting back into that whole deepness. But the new Polaris Expeditions that already have like the full doors and the windows and all that. And it's crazy to sit there and think like they're getting to that level now. And it's like, dude, I could just go get like a sidekick or a samurai and be just as good.
Those things are weapons too.
I'll tell you, I miss it because that was really my break from racing, because I'd be gone on the weekends filming, and then we come back and the trails up here are always busy on the weekends. So it's a little packed, it's a little hard to ride sometimes, but we go ride during like the first part of the week after I get done editing, and it would be nice because trails aren't packed. You can kind of enjoy it. Only thing sucked like before it got really, really deep, and like some of the trail restaurants wouldn't be open, so you'd be limited on stuff like that. I mean, that's the good thing. You can literally shoot off a trail into one of the little small old mining towns, and now they used to have no businesses, no nothing. Now they've got restaurants, hotels, everything. So it's been a good economy boost at least.
I mean, it was affordable, but I think even that sport's becoming unaffordable. Like, I went in and I think it was a 23 model X3, which was just a base version, newer than mine. Like mine's a XDS or something, but it had a bunch of options on it. And they wanted 38 or 39,000 plus tax.
Yeah, I was like,
damn.
My Explorer brand new was like, I got it off a lot for 38,000. I'm like, a side by side's that same price.
I mean, the side by side could probably do a lot more, like crazy shit, but at the same time, that's a damn car price.
Yeah, and where I live at, like those are considered road vehicles. Like if you
same here.
If you don't have tags and stuff, I think you're only limited like 10 miles at a time on the road and stuff. But now you can get tags, everything, insurance, just like a car here now.
Yeah, so, I can drive it down the road and just go wherever I want where I live. So
yeah, y'all could picture me driving that shit to like Rockingham or something. Yeah, I just drove the side by side all the way from West Virginia to Dig or Die.
I mean, it is a vehicle.
No way I'm taking that one on a highway.
Why not?
I like my heated seats, and
yeah, let's do that.
I can only fit probably about one case after everything else that's already in a side by side. So
yeah.
Plus, you picture me and Happy rolling up to Dig or Die. Oh yeah, just roll up on the side by side. That dude would be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
but that's the problem. I sold all my toys, and I went 100% into this media deal now. So my RC cars are about my only toys I got left.
Yeah, I'm gonna be selling a bunch of my shit here soon. Simplifying life a little bit.
Yeah.
I got a boat that I used 1 hour last year. I used it probably 4 hours the year before. I'm like, so I just took it to the detailer's gonna get it all cleaned up, get that for sale.
That's one thing I don't do. I don't do boats. I've been out on 2 my whole life, and that's too many.
Man, I will tell you, I had like a small feeling that I was like, oh, COVID was happening and stuff like that. So the prices were just starting to go like this. And I'm like, you know, I'd really like to have a boat. And now's probably the best time to buy it. And then I bought it and I was like, oh, I don't even use this fucking thing at all.
The only, and what's crazy is I've rode a pontoon, and the only 2 boats in my life I've ever rode is a pontoon and the boat from the shore to, well, it's the ferry boat to the Statue of Liberty. And I was like, no, that whole swaying back and forth.
Yeah.
No. I can swim good, don't get me wrong, but man, I do not want to be out in no deep water, no nothing like that.
So I go to Florida and we go on a fishing charter. And like I'm okay on boats. I'm okay on the water. I got a Sea-Doo. Sea-Dooing's fun. We get out and I made it like I think we were supposed to go 6 to 10 miles or something. And I think we made it 2 miles, maybe. And like as soon as the boat was like going like this.
Oh, yep.
And I whiteyed hard. I was out on the couch. I didn't puke or nothing, but like I could not stand up. I could not move. I was just all messed up. And I was like, I am not ruining this fishing charter. You guys fish. I'll be fine. I will survive.
Take me back to shore. That's the thing. Like, if I can't see and all I can see is water around me and nothing else, dude, I'd be freaking out.
I can see the land. They were like, "Oh, look at the land! Look at the land! It'll go away." I look at the land; it made it way worse because then you realize the boat's fucking like. I just closed my eyes. I was like, "Fuck that."
Like, there's too many things I'm worried about. There's too many things in that ocean that could eat me whole, so I'm good.
100%, 100%.
Like, if I fish, I'm fine on the bank. I'm good. Y'all go ahead. I won't even fish on the ocean. Like, because I'll reel in something once again that's probably big enough to eat me, my luck, or a shark. I'd be the one person that would catch a shark. Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever go on a charter again. My buddy Brett here that I'm doing that El Camino for in the shop. He goes, "Oh man," he's like, "I want to go on this trip. It's 2 weeks. I'm taking this boat. We rent this thing and we're going here and there and there." He's like, "You coming? I'm buying." I'm like, "Not a fucking chance."
Nah,
thanks for the offer.
I'm good on that. That's what I was telling somebody. I was like, man, I haven't even been on vacation probably since like 2008. So I like to surround. I like to stay busy, anyways. I like to keep working, keep doing stuff.
Yeah, I'm usually like that.
That's like I said, scheduling and stuff. Like, so I can't believe you got that much. I'm like, it's kind of purpose because I'm like, I want to go racing as much as I can because once it's done for the year. And that little month, 2 months of downtime is hell, honestly, because I'm so used to being on the go. It's when I have to slow down, it's terrible.
Frig, we got 5 months of slow down here. Where I live, anyways.
And like, I'm kicking myself this year for not really taking advantage and going and doing more. I should have. What's going on, Robert? I should have probably traveled a little more, but we've been kind of working on getting just a few things straightened out. Because, like I said, I'm looking at moving to North Carolina, which will make it a way better for what I do and more centralized.
See you there.
That's when I went to Shady Side yesterday. Just there's one neighborhood I really like, and every time I'm going through there, I'm just like looking for the for sale signs. Like, all right, you for sale yet? Because if I can be within like 10, 20 minutes of the track, it would be awesome. Oh, dude.
That's a hell to the fucking no, Dalton. A cruise ship is the last motherfucking thing I'd ever be on.
Man,
that
and what's
friggin'
crazy?
Cesspool of friggin' germs and sickness and everything, and you're stuck in the middle of the ocean too. Hell no.
And like, here's the problem: it's like now they're making cruise ships, like they have go-kart tracks and all this shit. I'm like, I would
man,
die.
they're so huge.
Like, I'd be the first person to flip a go-kart off of the boat into the water.
Yeah. I finally watched it today. So getting it ready. It's going to my buddy Nathan does all my detailing. He's about 20 minutes, half hour for me. So figured I'd give it a pre-wash before I dropped it off at his house and said, here, clean it. So
dude, one of the girls that kind of helps me out at Shady's house doing photos, her brother works for a detailing business, and they'll actually come to wherever you're at and detail your car and stuff. So I'm getting ready to shoot him a message when I'm back at Shady Side on the 8th or the 7th or the 7th through the 9th. I'll be like, hey man, can you just ride up to the track and I'll pull all the media gear and all that stuff out and do y'all's thing, clean the inside, outside, and throw some sealing on it, because I skipped doing all that this year. I used to be huge into doing car detailing. Like, I've got all kinds of shit downstairs, but just don't have the time anymore.
I try to keep my truck clean, man, but it's hard.
And nobody understands, like, and you do, because that's your office pretty much at that point. With me, that's what I live out of it. Everything's in it constantly. Everything just, I'm eating in it. I'm doing emails in it when I'm on the road. Sometimes I'll get bored. I'm editing a video and uploading it while I'm driving up the road. It's just
allegedly.
Nah, it's on this front seat. And I'm like, all right, it's still uploaded. We're good.
I haven't really lost any weight in that car. I'll probably I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the heavy stock carpet out of it because it's got all that foam on it. And then I'm just going to like glue thin fleece or something to the floor, like something black that's light. So probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds will get out, plus me. So that'll be another 25 pounds. And then that's it.
What's funny is I'm behind. Like, once we hit off season, I don't listen to any podcasts or anything unless I go like this weekend. I'll put one on and listen, because I like to save them for race season so I can catch up. And I'm finally catching up on like yours. And I was listening to the one with Happy and just listening to all the shit he was doing with the cars and stuff. Like, this is how we made them light, our G bodies and all this. And it was just skinned, and we just had a piece of carpet to make it look like a roof. I'm like,
well, that's why on the last table episode, I was like, look at this friggin' scammer up here. Like, just always got something. He's just saying, hey, how can we modify this?
Hey, don't forget, you can always have some titanium bolts. So
don't worry, I'm bringing you some this year.
Dude, and what's cool is, like, in the RC stuff, like, the weight's the big thing. And that car I was putting back together, like, I'm mad as hell because it had titanium bolts on it. So when it wrecked yesterday, a couple of them, I guess, left the group chat. So I was going back there doing everything.
I have lots for you.
As long as they're M4 size, man, M4, all that.
I got from M.5 to like M4 is probably the size of these things.
Dude, but I'm putting it back together. And then I think I'm actually going to get back into the tuning side of it too. I'm going to throw one of those with the actual laptop style tuning, and what's going to make it funny is I'm not actually wanting it for the fast class. I'm wanting it for the bracket class. Just so, craziest thing yesterday is just watching how much everything got affected with just a small weather change. Like, you wouldn't think it would affect it that much, but the surface effect, everything just went stupid. I literally almost a tenth slower on the car just because the one bit of shade came over the road, and just complete game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I'll give you a hand with that. I'd like to see, just I've been on cruise control with all the other shit. So if I learn something new, that'd be all right.
that's I'm think I'm gonna dive deep into it and just see what happens. I mean, if I blow it up, oh well. Back to the stock motor junk. So I know how to do it, but like I'm still learning. Like yesterday, I had in the finals, like I was trying to control because we can do the launch control, different launch maps, all that stuff, and I got greedy a little bit in the finals too, and I kicked up the power because the dude was running. He was about six or 700s better than me on ET all throughout the day. So I knew I had to pick up a little bit or just kill him on the tree. And he was killing the tree too. So I was like, I got to find some power. And little to me, I should have thought about where I have everything. And I was actually screwing myself adding a little more. I should have probably took a little bit more out and it would have made me faster off the line anyway. So I seen that this morning when I got up. He won in the streets. He had to run Jolene in the finals. So,
did you ever think the table would be what it is?
Man, it's funny because
it's weird, like, isn't it?
Literally, that idea was just a 5 minutes, like, because I was doing like the little weekly deal on my own live with the media guy. I was just wanting to like talk to wherever race I was going to that week. I was talking to like the track manager or the promoter or something like that. And when we got to Cash Days of Virginia, we did Me, Happy, and Limpy on the show. And dude, we were just jawing back and having a good time. And then I knew Chris decided to come, so we didn't update the next day because the weather was all funky anyway. So we got on, and we were on there for like 2 hours just BSing back and forth, and I was like, man, why don't we just make this into I'll drop this out. Let's just make it into our show. Let's just get on there and just talk about racing and bullshit and have fun. And I was like, if 5 people watch it, it'll be a victory to me. And then,
well, I get messages all the time, and people say, that show really works because there's 6 of you on there, or 7 of you now, and it's like we all have different attitudes, but we're all friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's cool.
Oh, and that's what, y'all came on, it grew. I mean, just in different, and it's like I said, we're all, and everybody's different walks of life too. I mean, I'm a media guy. We've got flaggers, guys that make and sell glue. We got racers. I mean, it's all forms of the racing world in one portion. And then at the end of the day, we're literally just normal people, whatever, just having a good time talking. I mean, how many times are you going to go on a show that's got some of the most serious people about racing, and then you turn it on thinking you're going to hear about racing, and we're complaining about who makes which cheese is better on grilled cheese? I mean, it's crazy how it's taken off. Like, it really sat in like, wow, it maybe is something a little bit bigger. When I went to the last day of Street Meet, and there's people in line telling me like they listen to the show, and I don't know who they are and stuff, but I've seen like their cars and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, even the drag and drive community likes it. I mean, I guess we're doing something pretty cool.
I'm very curious to see how when we go to War in the Woods and do this whole live episode with everybody there. I think that's going to be a game changer for the show. I do.
Yeah, I think that one's going to be like the week before when we do it at the 50 grand. That's kind of my test run for it, so I can figure out everything to make sure. Like, I'm the type, even no matter what, even when it comes to the media, I like to test everything beforehand and know. So that at least gives me like 3 or 4 days so I can get on Amazon if I got to order something really quick and get it in or something like that. And dude, the War in the Woods one, that's probably going to be the most insane episode because we're going to stream it live and we're going to be live in person. I mean, I don't know what Jeff's got it concocted up for that. But
I don't. Yeah, he's going to have something.
When he comes, oh, we're gonna have somebody feed us dinner and all this. I'm like, oh hell, here we go.
Yeah.
And what's gonna be crazy? That's only gonna be my second trip ever to Brown County. The first trip I went up there, only got to see a round and a half of action before the rain came in. Yeah.
So it'll be my third. I went to War in the Woods. I went to Gangsters, and then I'll go War in the Woods one more time.
Which I was dead set on going to Gangsters last year, and then the weather forecast just went to crap. And the hardest part is, like me and Happy I was going back and forth with it on Happy. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know this, because at the end of the day, I'm still, no matter what, I'm a small business. And getting a video every week really determines a lot for me. Like, I got to get the coverage. I've got to get that. And the way the weather, like, I couldn't chance 7 hours of cost and all that. And I hated it. And I ended up going to a smaller race down in North Carolina because it was 3 hours from home and the weather looked perfect. So it's one of those. And then Friday night got off, and I was like, damn it. I wanted to see it that bad. Like, I knew it was going to be
not much happened. Yeah. With the weather, like Friday night was good, but I think the second day would have been a lot better.
Yeah. But, I mean, at that point, everybody kind of got to, like, Saturday it would have been insane because everybody had a hit. They knew what they were getting into. And you would have seen probably, I mean, take, for instance, this last War in the Woods. Who would have thought you'd see cars going that fast in War in the Woods? I mean, it's just, dude, I've been on a bunch of fast surfaces and been to a bunch of fast surface racing, and I would have never thought like, my first trip up there, like, I didn't think it was that bad, but it's the transitions, and I'm like, wow. And
I don't know what, it's not even that bad, the transitions. What was crazy to me was after the shutdown, there was still grass going through, but they fixed all that now.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, people still cross and stuff and whatever, but that track's so fast. It's so fast.
I mean, just watching, like the times that I heard they were running a Twin River, when I got told, I was like, y'all are insane. I wouldn't go that fast down there. And I mean, when I went to War in the Woods, I mean, I've been to the sketchy tracks and stuff, and just watching it, and it's like going to that shutdown. I'm like, God, if I was in a car, my ass would be so tight. Like, that'd be the place. If I had 2 chutes, I'd use them.
Well, especially with these cars that only have these little bitty brakes on them, for weight and stuff. Like, my car's not so bad. I got normal big brakes that come on the Nissans, right? So
yeah,
it stops pretty good.
What is it? Like watching some of these pro mod races, and where, like, in some of the radio guys, even they've got those little small parachutes that come out, and dude, they don't look no bigger than maybe like 3 or 4 paper towels combined. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all thinking with that shit? Like, give me the one that's like the jet cars have, and it looks like it's twice the size of the Earth when it comes out.
Yeah, that's right.
Which fastest I've ever went, I was 6:30, so I never really needed nothing for a parachute. But I wasn't one of those people that just threw a parachute on a street car to look cool or nothing. So my dad, he went fast enough in the parachute, but we always hoped he never pulled it because refolding and putting that thing back in was going to be a nightmare.
Mine's a little bit of a nightmare. I know how that feels.
When I was over at Houston's when he was getting his car together, and he first put his on, and I was like, dude, I hope you never have to pull that chute if I'm with you. And he said, why? I said, because you're going to find somebody else to help you pack that thing. I have no idea how to fold that back up.
I just stuff it in there now. I don't do a quick fold and wrap the thing in and stuff it in there and then pull it tight. I'm like, if it works, it works.
Like, if somebody ever told me, yeah, we need you to help fold a parachute or come on our crew to do that, I'm like, you should look at my luggage and how I fold clothes and throw them in there. You do not want me doing that.
I just throw them in.
Like, it's boom, boom, boom. All right, zip, we're good. Like, that's why I have.
If I do laundry, the dirty shit stays in the washer and the clean shit stays in the dryer, and I pull it out as I use it.
I get to the hotel. What is it? The anti-wrinkle spray, and like I spray my stuff off that, and then hang it up. And all right, it'll work itself out.
I don't care about the wrinkles.
What is that?
I like the Jack Nicholson look. Just wrinkled clothes and hair. Well, I don't have any hair, but if I had hair, it'd be everywhere.
Oh, dude! After yesterday in the windstorm at Shadyside during the RC race, I'm about convinced that I'm not going to have any after Wednesday. So, well, enough. I'll keep enough, but I think it's about to lose. And I haven't cut my hair in 2.5 years, so I think I'm due.
Yeah, probably do.
Then nobody will know who I am, maybe, and I'll just blend back in with the crowd. No, I'm not that guy from the table. We're good.
That's the thing. Everybody knows you like this. So if you shaved your beard and your head, like, you could probably get away with some shit.
Oh, and that's the thing. Last year, like, they've got pictures of me leading the drivers meeting for Carolina Cash Days. Beard was like all the way down to here, and I'm like, I did that once. I'm not doing it again. I didn't really enjoy that. This is about as long as I like it to be now, and it's almost too long now.
Yeah, this is all I like. This is almost too much. When it starts getting in your mouth and stuff, and it's like I'm trying to eat, I'm like,
that's why I'm like, I don't know how Limpy does that long shit. I'm like, how?
You're sitting at the table in the restaurant, and you just got a bunch of sauce just right here, and you have no idea. You're just eating, talking to people.
I've became so self-conscious since I've got the beer because it's like I'll take a bite of something, I'm instantly from the napkin, like, no,
because you don't know, you can't feel it.
Like, don't want my grilled cheese getting in my beard.
Yeah. Corey can donate. Yeah, we'll donate some hair to Happy.
We'll get some hair, and whatever I cut off, we'll make it formed around his head, and it'll say around as it goes around his head, Louisville.
Yeah. Louisville.
Which, man, he got to go to one of my bucket list tracks this weekend. That street race in Haven, that place has always looked cool. So, I was texting him. What was it, Friday night when they had their little downtime, and he was talking about and he made a comment. Somebody else was doing the live feed. He was like, "Yeah, he probably can hear me if I'm out here talking. If y'all are standing right here and I see him, yep, I can hear you loud and clear, Happy." Which, dude, that place looks gangster as hell, front side and back side. Which, Limpy the Santa Claus of the streets, literally.
But, well, now getting all that white in his beard too. So,
dude, I'm waiting. I didn't realize. I guess I missed the post and then I saw it. But Mike and them have 1320 down there, so I'm waiting on those videos. Which Mike looked like he had a gnarly wreck to start his race out with too. So
yeah, I heard.
Oh, dude, I got to I seen the clip of it, but that street he looked at they raced on too. That was pretty. I want to do more stuff. Yeah, I want to get in the street. I want to do some more stuff in the street.
I want to do more street stuff too, but nobody invites me. So
I'm gonna tell you, and what it made me so mad that when I went out to Happy's and he did that deal and he had everything so perfect, and that'd been a ride for y'all. That'd been tough, but the people that like said they were coming and then like punked out on coming, I was like, that really hurt me for the street stuff. And I was like, when he said, "All right, I'm coming to Digger," I was like, well, okay, let's go out for the street stuff, because it used to be really awesome and legit back when we first started doing it down there. And then, man, I hated how it was.
I told him I would have came down there, and he said it was full, and then find out that all these people backed out on him.
Dude,
I'm like, I would have come down there.
Literally, like, supposedly had 30 hard asses, 32 hard asses, and it ended up with like 6 showing up. I'm like,
yeah.
That's what I told him.
Everybody's a gangster until it's time to play the part.
I thought I said, I know you don't like taking lock-ins, but I said that's when that shit actually counts, is because then some of them like may not care about throwing away the money, but
lock-ins get tough, especially from like my view, because there's a lot of races that I will like. I'll show up. I'm coming. If I say I'm going, I'm going. But if I had to lock into like say 10 races at $200 a pop,
that's
especially
tough.
US money, I can't front that. Like I could if it came down to it, but I'm not gonna. So I miss a couple of them because it's lock-ins, and then they get, they get filled up, and then there's no room for me to race, and that kind of sucks. But
that's like on my Shady Side race. We used to do lock-ins with it, like, and it would do good, but honestly, like even this 50,000, like we had to do lock-ins with it because of how much the nature and stuff is. But I've never really been like, as a promoter, I don't even really care as much about the lock-in side. There were some events that you had to have it, but like with my no preps, I'm happy just, hey, we got 7,000 in the pot. I've got it broke down for the payout, like free entry. We put money in. We got sponsors that put money in. I just want guys to come race now and have a good time. I mean, if 5,000 to win ain't good enough to race for, I'm like, it's free. It's a free test session. So,
yeah, it's
tough. Excuse me, but
when me and Mike were talking about the payback thing, that he tried this race and stuff, like, I'm a big believer in that, only because the racing we do is so big. And like, this isn't to like bitch or anything, but there's some good racers out there that constantly keep winning all the money that's keeping money from everybody, which is fine. That's great, but doesn't need to be a $10,000 race every time that someone takes the same guy keeps taking 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. Like, you could have a winner take, so like Mike's race, what I was thinking was like cash day style, like he said, but you get paid every round you win, and then the winner still gets, let's say, 5 grand, and then so the race is 10 grand. You take the 5 grand, that's going to be the winner's pot, and then you have another 5 grand that gets split for all the winners. Each win that they win, and then you can do whatever with it, and I think that that's better. Like,
I mean,
then everybody gets a little bit of gas money, even if you go one round and then you get out the second.
It's kind of like with the bracket stuff. Like I've noticed, like with the bracket racing, like if you come to one of our bracket races at Shadyside, it starts paying money after the 4th round. So if you make it at least that far, you're getting money. You're like, even if it's $50, you got some money. Mine, I pay, like on my Carolina Cash Days races, I pay back to the semis, and I'm working on next year. Like I've got my pots kind of secured and everything for this year, but I'm working on next year. We're going to start possibly paying back to the quarters because it's growing, and it's growing constantly. I mean, we had 40 cars last year, free entries to my tire racing. Yeah, I seen you getting froze up a little bit. I was like, internet must be kind of not happy in Canada.
So this is what's crazy. So my laptop is full internet. It's great, but for some reason the StreamYard is only one. Connection is unstable. I'm gonna have to get an Ethernet cord for the next one. This is the first time I've noticed that it actually has a. Do you see it up there?
I don't I know where it's at when we're on mine. Like I don't see it on yours. But like on the table, that's why, like, what was it? I ran a few just straight off my Wi-Fi, and like I'm good. Like I've got 2-3 bars constantly of service, but the StreamYard kept dropping, and it's just because of where it's even like with live streams, like off the yellow box, if there's just not enough bandwidth for something to support it with what's going through. And now I'm a firm believer, like when we do the table, I've run the Ethernet cord. I just plug directly into the modem. That way it's stable, all this. I know like my Shadyside live feeds, I'm able to go straight into the modem, so it helps perfect.
Yeah.
Like Dig or Die, we're working off of a cellular network. I'm working off of one of those little boxes. It's sometimes a pain. But like we had to reset it, I think Saturday of Dig or Die 4 or 5 times. But there's also a ton of people down there that are on T-Mobile. I mean, even though there's a tower literally right over the hillside, it's still going to have its effect. Plus, I'm trying to, like, when I do this stuff, I'm trying to do as good as quality as I can. Even though now, if I'm just straight off the YOLO box, I drop it down to 720p just to keep everything good so it doesn't freeze. There's no issues. It still has its moments. I mean, that's why, like, StreamYard, when I was doing it this past, I had it kicked up to 1080, directly plugged into the laptop. I was like, man, dude, it looks so good. I was like, I wish I could do this every single time, but and I've been contemplating. I'm at the point now, if I'm going to continue doing the live stuff, I need to go get AT&T because it's in a lot of areas like KD. It's an AT&T location. Elk Creek that I go to a lot, it's AT&T location. It's the only thing that works there. Or I've really thought about the Starlink stuff. I mean, even it's got its initial price and stuff, but if it can guarantee me internet anywhere I'm at and the ability to live feed, I mean, kind of seems maybe possibly worth it if I want to really get that deep. But at that same time, then I'm going to start taking my generator with me every time, everything, and that's the tough part. Which
I agree.
Which ain't hard. I mean, if I take like I've got that little thing I can just the little cargo carrier now for the back of the Explorer. I can throw the generator and some gas on the back and be fine. It's just, it's one of those, do you want to get that deep? And because the hard part is a lot of these times I go to races and stuff, like if Chris isn't there or Happy's not there, the live feed's like unmanned. So it'll be picture in picture and stuff like that. And I can check in and talk with people, but I'm also I'm doing coverage video. I'm doing coverage pictures because that's still my main gig on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Live does good, but still not as good as that stuff yet. So it's one. I mean, I wish the live did. If the live ever gets to the point it's doing better than that, I'll go 100% live and I'll sit there and I'll talk on it. I'll do everything myself. Like,
I think some people like that. Like the way you did Dig or Die. I think that was great. Like just nonstop, and people got to interact, and you talk during intermission, and they're like, "What's going on? Hey, we're waiting for this to get up here," and it just makes it that much easier instead of like. No offense to anybody that's at the line, but the way Ben did it was perfect because he went around and he talked to people, whereas other guys just stand at the line and then they're waiting, and you got like 20 minutes, 25 minutes of nothing going on, and people are sitting there trying to watch.
I'm telling you, if my live feed was just based off of a cell phone and I had that mobility like that, I'd be doing exactly what he did. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I'm the stupid person. I'm stupid enough. Like, I always watched Motor Mania and whatever it was before Flow. I forget what they called it now, but I always loved the multi-angles and stuff like that. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all out and I'm going to do a production.
I think Ben did a killer job, man. I don't know if you watched his stuff, but I really like where he's come as a cameraman because, we've been with him for a long time since we started. And
he's developing his own style. I like it. And I mean, that's the thing I tell everybody, like, don't go in this trying to be somebody. Like, people used to always tell me, oh, you need to be like 1320. You need to be like this. I'm like, man, I love those guys. And they do an awesome job. And Kyle's a great dude and all this. But I said, I don't want to be the next 1320. I want to be the first Spoold Media.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to develop my own thing. I said, and like, that's the big thing. Like, he's developing something that he's getting his own following with. Like, there may be people that don't like the multi-angle and want to watch how Ben does it. And I'm like, hey, yeah, go support that dude. Support those small guys. I like it.
But that's what makes things better. Like, one thing that drives me nuts about what we do, even the racing and the cameras, and it's so saturated with people just copying the guy ahead of them because they want the same fame as you or somebody else, like just do what 1320. No, that's 1320. Why do we need 15 people that do the same thing as 1320? Like, that's when it gets boring and saturated, and it's not, you lose interest that way.
That's why, like, some people say, oh, you need to vlog, you need to do this style, you need to do this. I'm like, man, I've always been a coverage guy. I like doing the coverage style. Like, if we're going to talk and do all that, we're going to do it through the live, and that way we can interact. Like, take, for instance, the bracket race I just did. Like, I didn't get to talk like we're talking like this, but I was interacting with everybody through the chat board and everything because we had an announcer going and he was doing all the announcing and all that because I've got all that plugged into the live feed and stuff. And it was so, like, I could still talk with the crowd. I kept everybody updated, all that stuff. There was still the interaction there, even though I'm not talking physically. And I'm like, that's just something I think that makes that live feed so much better. But then you got guys that don't care about none of that, just want to see the race, the coverage. That's where I keep the coverage video. So I did vlogging for a little bit, like for one season, like half the season I did vlogging, and dude, too much.
I get asked a lot to do because I'm always busy, right? I'm always doing something. I'm in the shop, or I'm traveling, or I'm racing, or I'm meeting, people that people are interested in. So they're always like, oh, you should do YouTube. And I'm like, that's great. Until it has to come down to fucking editing. Like, I don't have the time or the knowledge to edit. That's not my thing, right? So that's why I don't do it. But
and like my coverage stuff, like I've edited for so long, I'm simple. Like, I could go really extravagant with editing if I wanted, but it's just not me. It's not my style. I don't want that. Like, the people that make, and they do awesome jobs when they make theatrical, like, pre-release for their videos. That shit's cool. I love it.
The teasers, like SRC does, man. He does killer teasers.
Shit's cool. Like, I love it, and it's cool as hell, but I've got to the point I can't sit at a laptop that long and do it anymore. I do my coverage, and that's what I want to highlight, the coverage of the events, and that's another thing is, like, a lot of people wouldn't believe it because of the table and like doing now, but I hate being in front of the camera. I'm not an in front of the camera person.
And yet this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Like, the barriers that have been broken in the past year to get me to do stuff like this are insane.
Hey, you did it for me. I still feel awkward on these things, but
I mean, it's like one of those, like you're talking about with people wanting fame and stuff. That's stuff I've never wanted. I don't care nothing about any of that.
And I'm not saying SRTC does a good job with the teaser just because I was in 2 of them, but I was in 2 of them.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't jumped all winter.
That's a new year. I mean, you're due. But nah, and that's what somebody told me, like with stuff like the cloud. Like I don't care nothing about any of that. The main reason I started Spoold Media literally was to give the small tracks and the small racers in my area just some show.
Coverage.
Like, yeah, I wanted the nation to see them because, like, at that point when I started Spoold Media, that was my second year working with Shady Side, and like we literally had just broke the RVW record at the smallest backwoods track you've ever seen in your life. Had the very first radial car to the 4.0s. Nobody there to cover it. So I just took it upon my own. All right, I'm going to do it if nobody else is. Like, I'd never operated a camera before in my life like that. The most I'd ever did was a cell phone. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to just dive deep into this and see what happens. And dude, I started covering little streetcar races and all that stuff, and that was always my thing. I wanted to push the racers. I don't care if people know who I am or any of that stuff, but dude, these racers are out here busting their ass and stuff like that. I want the nation to see it. So everybody, like media wise, would only go to the big events and stuff like that, and like I just want to show.
I'm like you. I was just having this conversation with Mike. Like, I'm like, I don't know why I can't just be like other people and just like if I was to win a race, be all excited and tell everybody in the world. I'm not like that. I was like, I win a race and be like, cool, see you later, see you at the next one.
I
don't know.
I'll push the brand all day. I'll push Spoold Media all day because I know if Spoold Media is growing and it's getting more attention, that means the racers and everybody's getting more attention. It's not. I don't want it just for me. It's never been like that's what like. Even when I won races, like I'm the same way. I was like, hell yeah, I'm just ready for the next weekend. Let's have another good time.
I don't know, like I push my customers more. Like my business cards are all my customers' cars. My shirts are all my customers' cars. Anything that I try to post, I barely post mine. I don't know why. Like I have been a little bit more because there's a lot of people that like the car or whatever. But I don't know. I get more enjoyment out of seeing other people succeed than myself, I guess.
And it's like stuff I've seen. Like everybody will ask me, why don't you have shirts for sale? Why don't you have this? So 90% of the time I track I'm a one-man show. So it's kind of hard to do the media and keep up with sales and stuff like that.
Hard, man.
And then 2, it's just like at the same time, I'm just like, hey, I don't really care about like, oh, we'll buy a shirt off you. I was like, just share the channel. I'd rather you do that. It's free. I said, gets the racers, it gets everybody out. I said, that's cooler in my opinion.
You know what? You know what's hard is ordering sizes that you actually can sell.
Yep.
And then when you sell them, you need to freaking figure out how to restock them because I'm not a clothing company.
Yep.
So then I have to, but then you need to buy a certain amount of shirts again from the same guy. So there's a minimum quantity. So now you got to order. Like, I don't know. It just becomes a whole job in its own on top of the 10 jobs that you're already doing.
We did once a run of shirts for Spoold Media, just basic, small logo on the front, big logo on the back. Yeah. I think we did 100 shirts and like trying to pick out the sizes, like, all right, well, what's this and this? And like we sold all except for like 20 of them. And then I ended up keeping all the 4XLs for myself. They turned into my filming shirts. And that's the hard thing. It's like, I'm not really big into that. Like if I ever did get into it, I'd probably have to holler at like Kenzie or Happy and have somebody help me out. Like, well, let me say Kenzie. Like I'd have Happy is the face of the brand.
Would help sell, but that's it. Happy is the brand. I can't wait till he sees what I'm doing for War in the Woods. He's gonna love it.
And I'm actually gonna get off my ass and do some stuff this year. Like that's another big thing is like it's so like I never had time half the time with what was going on then and stuff to like I hated going to like the post office to send that stuff. I hated it, but we use Teespring and I just like I've got designs. Like I can design stuff all the time and like upload the files and stuff like that. And I put them on Teespring because Teespring would literally print them, send them and all this. And they just went through that. And yeah, I didn't make as much profit or nothing doing that. But it didn't really bother me because I was like, oh, it's cool. I guess they got their shirts. Everybody wanted them. I just used it for some gear just to make the coverage better. And that's my thing is like, I'm always thinking about how to make the coverage better and all that. And I guess I need to focus a little bit on small stuff like that. Happy gives me hell all the time for not having shirts and all that stuff out. And I'm just like, yeah, I know, but it's just me. I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
I like the design and I like to do all that stuff, but like at the end of the day, I'm just more about, let's just grow the channel. Let's keep it going. And
well, you're trying to keep everybody involved, because there are a lot of people that want to come to these races that can't, so the next best thing is watching it. And if you can cover all the angles of the race and have a conversation with them, that means a lot.
And I'll tell you, and a lot of people, like, I hadn't really ever told, there's a few that knew this, but the main reason I really bought a bunch of the live feed gear and started doing the live feeds was literally for my dad, because he was sick and he couldn't get out really as much, couldn't go to the races. So I was like, hey, I'll bring him to you, like where I'm at, because he was like, man, I wish I could go, and where he has dialysis on those days and stuff, and he couldn't do the traveling and all that. I was like, okay, I'll just do them live. And like I would text him like, hey man, I'm getting ready to go live. Just log on, get the remote, and click on YouTube on the Comcast or the Xfinity box, whatever that is now. And that's been and I hate it because that was like the main reason I got into doing the live stuff. And now I caught myself, what was it? At the Black Friday race. And like a lot of people don't they know or don't, like my dad passed away in November, and the week before Thanksgiving, we're at Black Friday, and I pulled out my phone and pulled up his contact. And, hey, getting ready. Damn. It just hit me hard. And I was like, he always enjoyed the live and stuff and all that. So at first I was like, man, I might just get rid of this stuff and all that. I was pretty bummed out. But honestly, going to Dig or Die.
We still count on you, buddy.
Going to Dig or Die and Happy and Chris going at and just all that, and just seeing everybody enjoying it and loving it. So I was like, man, I'm just going to make it bigger. So, I mean, right. I've had to talk with a few people, like possibly if Spoold Media like I said, going full-time live, if it starts producing as good, if better than the coverage, I'll probably go full-time live with it and kind of slow down on the coverage. But if I do end up going full-time live with it, it's going to be more than what it is. It's not just going to be the coverage and the guys talking. Like, I'm going to expand out and have a way to, I'm going to buy the transmitters to where I can go into the crowd and interview racers, and we can like do cuts to that and stuff like that.
Here's an idea. Like, I know that's great, do the live and all that stuff, but I think we should figure out how we can do the table thing more often at races as well.
Dude,
the more we can all be together and do the table, I think for everybody.
I don't know how much you watch sports and stuff like that. Like, we'll take the Super Bowl, for instance, how they have a pregame, they have a halftime report, and then they have the end of the game. I'm like, that's something, like, honestly, I've been really thinking about War in the Woods, not even doing the coverage side, and I'm going to do the live side and do something like that.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
I mean, we got to figure, we can figure something out between the 7 of us,
Yeah. I mean, right now, depending on what I use, which I can do some like multiple stuff. And know me, I'm stupid enough to order the next step up in gear to where we can have 8 angles plugged into one live feed. I mean, that's just how I am. If we can make it better, I'm going to make it better.
You should send me what I need to get for a mic so I can tie that. I'll get my own.
Like a wireless mic, or?
Yeah, so we can tie it all into the same thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because we're all going to need mics when we go to War in the Woods.
Yeah, I've already, dude, and what's crazy is I've literally started building my shopping list and my process for this, and it's just, I'm the person that watches stuff like Sports Center and all that, and I see, or like the pregame for like college football, baseball, stuff like that. And I see how they're around the table. They've got individual mics, and I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, I need to order this, because I want this look. Who was it? Alex? Alex did the meme and put all of our faces over like the college game day people. And I'm like, he did that. And it was about a meme having fun. But I was like, damn, I took that to heart. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, all right, how can I make this happen?
Yeah. Hey, man, that's what I thought this was going to turn into when we first started doing it. I'm like, it would be sweet if we were just all sitting at a table at a race and doing our thing. Right.
I appreciate that also, Dalton. I mean, that was the main reason I did it. Like, I was like, hell, I'm gonna bring the action to him one way or another if he can't get out. So, and then a lot of people like it. And last year was really I covered, gosh, out of the 62 events I went to last year, we covered 33 of them live, and that's good numbers. But this year, I kind of want to pump that up. I want to be at least 75% of the events I go to, I want to cover live this year. So, I mean, it's a good possibility. And I've talked to some of the tracks too I go to. They have internet they're willing to let me use, whether it be Wi-Fi or plug in and stuff. And I want to make sure I can bring it good to people.
Or we can get donations to Spoold Media, and you can get Starlink, to help pay for Starlink.
That's the next thing, man. I honestly believe, like, I know me and how dumb I am. I'll probably go and get an AT&T card first before I do Starlink and pay for that for a couple months, and I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and get Starlink, and then I'll have two carriers and Starlink, and then if we don't have connection at that point, we're in trouble because my phone's Verizon, so I've got that. I can hotspot the phone if we need to. So we've got all the major carriers. So I don't know. I just want to do some. It's been on my mind. Even driving back last night, I was listening to y'all's podcast. Like, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm driving, and I'm thinking about, all right, what do I need to get? What do we need to order? Because they want me to start doing some of the live feeds of the RC drags too. So I'm going, like yesterday, I did a service check, and I was like, well, maybe I can just run it off of my phone and hotspot from my phone. Well, Verizon on that end doesn't have shit. So I'm going to have to try when I go down next week, I'm going to take my T-Mobile box with me and try it on that end and see. And if not, hopefully AT&T. And if not AT&T, well, Starlink's going to be the next bet. Which I think we're talking, unless the other group does it, which I'm going to give them first option because they're big RC live feeders. And I'm going to be racing at it too in September, but we're going to be doing a big race actually on the track side at Shady Side with RC. So we're going to race them on the sticky side, which it's cool. It's different. And if the other company doesn't take it, I'm going to do it through Spoold Media, and I'll actually be able to run it through the tower. So I'll have my internet, everything down there. So that's what I said. I'm like, this will probably be the craziest live feed that I've did because I'll have like 4 different angles for the RC stuff, and I'll actually be racing my class. And then when my class is done, I'll go upstairs and I'll get back on the live feed. So
yeah, that'd be cool. That's a growing sport, man.
Dude, it's crazy. And
nothing against anybody, but it's a little more affordable than what we do.
I don't know, man. If you want to get in deep, it can get kind of pricey. But
you're honestly, not getting $150,000 pricey though.
No. I mean, you seen I have 3 cars in my Explorer, so that was my toter and stacker right there.
Yeah.
And
see, what you need to do is build yourself a stacker to tow the RCs around, like an RC stacker.
So the guys, there's some guys that get crazy with this, and they buy like the dualies and stuff like that, and they've got trailers for them, and they'll come up to the line and they'll pull it with their dually on their trailer, and I'm just like, that's so extra. I'm just over here. I'm just carrying mine by the wheelie bar if the tire heater's on it, set it on the table. But that's crazy. Like, there's one time, like, I'm not gonna be able to make it, but the class like I run in, they're running for $10,000. I mean,
man, that's fucking crazy.
I mean, who would ever think that a toy car is running for $10,000?
You need a chef hat.
Oh. Dude, we can make Happy a complete, like, you remember how the UFC fighters used to walk out and they had the shirts that had all the sponsors on them? Dude, just Happy walks out, have a Louisville across the stomach, and have a DQ logo, the Happy Sabachi, support your local street racer. Happy could be our walking billboard for the table.
Happy's going to make me a lot of money.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to have to donate half of it to him.
Just tell him the half you're donating for a big dinner for the table. And it's gonna
That's right. We still got to do an Airbnb with the go-karts and shit. We should do one at least this year. We got to pick something.
I'm game on doing that. which I see Mooresville now has 2 now indoor karting places plus Trackhouse Motorplex. So, and what would be cool about that is we could do that earlier in the week before Dig or Die, and then I'll leave from there to Dig or Die.
Yeah.
So, which you're only gonna do what, the Christmas Dig or Die this year?
Yeah, I'm only gonna do the Christmas Dig or Die this year.
I'm gonna go to all 3. The July one is the roughest of them all because for some odd reason they can say it's like a high of only supposed to be like 80 or 82 that day, but it always ends up being 100. That's one of the few races I've ever gotten sick at filming, like just because of the heat.
The heat, yeah.
Like my buddy TJ, man, he laughed at me because he seen me tap out. I was over there shooting pictures, and I was like, I'm gonna walk over to the car, man, just get a drink. I feel like hell, and because we wear radios when we're doing that, and okay, and then he hollered, "Where you at?" I said, "Dude, I'm in the car in the air conditioning. I'm dying." And that's honestly, like, I've thought about at some point taking some time off during the summertime just because it gets so hot, and some races don't do evening, and like some tracks don't have the ability.
I like the evening races because it's not as hot.
But I'll tell you, the bad thing is I don't like dealing with the heat. But then again, I don't really feel like being out there till 6, 7 in the morning finishing up a race. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing with me. But I don't know. I like Dig or Die Saturday, not Friday, but Saturday was like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like just warm enough, not cold. But when the sun went down, it got cold. Don't get me wrong, but that was perfect weather. Which I'm the type of person, like, it could stay between 60 and 70 year long, and I'm a happy guy. Yesterday it was nice, and then like
what is 70? 70 is I usually bounce back and forth because
I don't know what that is Celsius.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for none of that. I have no idea.
70 is probably good for me too.
70 is just warm enough to be warm.
Yeah, I like 65 to 70 is what I like.
Like, and that's the thing, like wintertime, like I hate riding with like heat blasting and stuff like that. Like yesterday I'm coming home and it was spitting snow and I'd had the heat on and I was dying, so I had the air conditioner like cranked while the snow's hitting my windshield coming back to West Virginia. So I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. Today, was it riding around and had the air conditioning seat on. I'm like, oh my god, it feels so good. Yeah. I'm not that type. I'm that type of person. Give me shorts, flip flops, all that year long. I'd be chill.
We barely had any snow this year.
We got that one bad snowstorm where we got like 16, 17 inches here at the house. And then after that, we've just had like dusting. So I'm fine with that. I hate snow. I've seen enough of it. I don't need to see no more of it.
It's fun to drive in it.
I don't even like driving in it.
Why? You should come drive with me then.
The only thing I like taking out in the snow was my side by side.
Yeah. Well, I got the Audi, right? So the Audi's pretty fun in the snow.
That's the one thing. Like, I've never really beat on my cars, and I'm like, I take, just because like take the Explorer. That's my travel vehicle, my daily vehicle, everything right now. Like I'm easy as hell on it. Like it's getting up, and y'all probably gonna laugh at me when I say this, but it's getting up in miles. It's at like almost 68,000 miles. So I owned that thing since it had 0 miles. Bought it brand new, and literally all I pretty much use it for is barely driving around here, but it's going to races. And that's what I said after.
Man, I probably put 40,000 miles on just this year alone.
Yeah,
on my truck.
Dude, I looked, and this past year was close to 30.
You know what? I should keep track of that because I did a lot of traveling this year.
Like starting, since it's my main season that starts this weekend, when I pull out from the house, I've got where it's got like 2 different mileage readings on it. Like I'll have one to check my gas, then my second one I'll zero out starting this week, and that'll be my yearly one.
Okay.
So
I just keep mine for oil changes. I just reset it every oil change.
I just wait for either where I've got Ford Pass. It'll come up on my phone and it'll tell me, hey, you're within 2,000 miles of an oil change. It'll send me a text message.
Sorry, my shit's from 2004, okay? It don't have that.
But dude, that's how that's one thing. I got talking with somebody, we were talking about vehicles, and I was like, yeah. I said, they're probably like, I bet whoever changes your oil can probably just retire off of you. I said, probably will. Because I stay on the go.
That's one thing that I'm very good at with all my vehicles is I change the oil well before it's supposed to be. So there's the odd time, like when I went to Louisiana, that was about the only time I let it get up to 10,000 on the way home because I was like, fuck, I'm already on the way home. And then as soon as I'm usually like 5,000 to 7,000, I'll change it. Kilometers, which is 3,500, 4,500 miles.
Well, you say that. I sent to Alex in a Snapchat. I said, hey, look, I'm Canadian. I changed mine over to kilometers on the digital readout. I said, man, no wonder. It seems like y'all are going so fast.
Yeah, we are.
I was like, I'm running 70 and I'm at like 100 and some odd on y'all's speed.
Yeah. Just makes more sense in kilometers. Come on.
What was it? Kilometer? What was it? That's not kilometers. That's miles per moose.
Yeah.
But no, I'm that type. Like when I get about that 8,000 mark, I start planning, or at least, and then by 9,000, I usually get it changed.
I see foam mine up basically every other, like especially my diesel. I'll see foam it and I'll drive it for probably 60 or 70 miles, and then I'll change it. And then I do fuel filter every oil change with my diesel. I just did the trainee flush, so I'm good for this year. I do it once a year, and then my diff I'll probably do twice a year, just because I tow with it a lot. So
I was asking my buddy, he works for the dealers. He works for a Ford dealership, and I was like, "Hey, I'm at X amount of miles. What do they start recommending for these vehicles?" Because I said everything's different from what I've owned. That's like nothing's ever the same. He said, "Oh, you're still pretty good for at least another 20." I was like, "Okay, good."
Yeah.
But I'd say, hell, like I said, I'll probably keep it through this year, but I need more room, honestly. I'm getting to the point where the Explorers are now room to haul all the shit between the scooter, the live feed gear, the regular media gear, luggage, all this. Like, I could probably.
What did I say?
Trans. Like, it's getting to the point I could probably use a small enclosed trailer just to pull, just so I could put half of my shit in.
Do what Chris does. He's got a little trailer.
But at the same time, like, but I've been thinking hard about. I've got an open bed that I bring my golf cart and stuff on, but I was thinking about selling it because what's crazy is the open bed trailer I bought. God, what was it? 2 years ago. I bought brand new from Rule King out here, and it was like $2,000. And I went to Rule King the other day, and they had the same trailer, exact same thing, and now they've got them priced at $28.99. I was like, wait a minute, I can make profit off of this. Yeah. Nah, I ain't that mean to people. I'd only make a little bit.
Well, everybody's like, why are you selling your enclosed? Why are you selling your enclosed? I said, I'm going back to open deck. Why? What's wrong with your trailer? I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with my enclosed. I just want open deck. I miss the kids driving down the highway and they're all thumbs up and all this stuff, and people can see that's better fuel economy. I just want to simplify it.
I mean, that's the good things and stuff. And one of the things I tell people is, like, now for a lot of races, like, I never had an enclosed. My dad had an enclosed when he raced, but when I like haul my stuff, it was always on open bed. And the good thing is, like, you can leave it at the track and stuff. You don't have to worry about taking it back to the hotel and hoping nobody messes with your car all night and stuff like that. But like, there's some things I do like the enclosed over the open bed, but I always like my open bed stuff.
Yeah. So we got into the habit of renting campers for all the big races we're going to. So now I can just leave all my shit there and just stay in a camper right at the track. Yeah. I don't plan on going to hotels anymore. So
I like, what is it, Nigel's? His trailer's got the living quarters and all that stuff on it.
It's just a lot of fuel money.
Yeah.
I could probably save, let's say I save $1,000 in fuel this year from my races just because I go to open deck. I mean, the hotels are more expensive than renting a camper. I think we rented a 9-person camper at Dig or Die, had heat, kitchen, like it was huge, bathroom, shower, all that stuff. And it was cheaper than a hotel.
Oh, and then I guarantee
5 of us stayed in it. So
that's like I just got done going through all my receipts and like got all my tax stuff together and all that. And like my hotel bill like total for the year was close to $15,000. I mean, but that's I would say I'm in a hotel 3 weekends at least out of the month.
Yeah.
So and that's normally from Thursday to Sunday. So and I'm bougie when it comes to hotels. So I like those nice hotels. So
yeah, like I'm not saying I won't stay in one,
no.
but definitely trailers where it's at, and then I don't have to travel. If the hotel's 45 minutes and it's 3:00 in the morning, and we got to be back up at 10, it's like fuck.
Oh, dude, take for instance KD, Cash Days at the Hill. I looked at Happy. I was like, man, I envy you. And he said, why? I said, you literally walk off the starting line and you walk right into your camper. I've got a 48-minute drive back to town to my hotel.
That is one race I'm not missing this year.
Oh, dude, it's a crazy place, and I've got it down. I'll be there Thursday night. It always falls like this, and it's crazy. Well, because of the holiday weekend, but Thursday I got to shoot pro mods, so I'll be in North Carolina shooting pro mods Thursday. Drive back Thursday night to the house, get some sleep, get up Friday, and then I have to trade it. The only thing I hate about my vehicle is it doesn't have its own GPS. I run everything off of my phone off of Apple Maps or Apple CarPlay. Well, dude, no service, none at all up there. So, which if I do get an AT&T box, I'll have service at least. But I always have to switch out vehicles, and I would leave my parents my vehicle because their SUV had built-in GPS, and that's the only way. Like, people laugh at me, but I get scared shitless when I can't like find my way if I don't have service and all that. I've experienced that once in my life, and it was terrible. So I like to at least know I know how to get the hell back out of there. And it's so rural and backwoods getting to that track. Like, I get crossed up easy on stuff.
Yeah.
So, and by that time I usually leave, I'm dead.
Gotta learn how to read a map, bud.
I'm screwed.
See, I come from the era where I had to read a map to find out where I was going. Didn't have GPS back in the day.
Gotta look at the tree, see what side the moss is growing on.
I remember when we did finally get GPS, it was like those Garmin's or whatever. You bought them in a whole thing and you had to assemble it in the truck. And
dude, the one thing I can tell you, and this is off subject because you were just talking about back in the day and stuff. I was laughing about listening to that podcast. I did not realize Bubba was the same age as us.
He's younger than me.
Like, how old's Bubba?
I think he's 36 or 37, man.
God, I'm 38.
I'm 39 this year, yeah.
When you said that, I was like, what? I had to
look like on Facebook while I was driving. He looks like he could be my damn dad.
So, dude, now I know when he comes to Cash, if I see him I might see him this weekend because I know he'll usually travel with like Jake and them to some places. But if not, I'll see him at Carolina Cash. I'll look at him like, damn, Bubba, I didn't know you were younger than me.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's fucked up.
See, that's what it's funny. You've interviewed these people and did their podcast and probably been up for a few months, and I'm just now catching up because that's my thing. I don't like when I drive the races and stuff. I can't do music no more. I have to have podcasts.
I'm all podcasts. It doesn't matter what podcast. Like it does. It's got to be about cars. It's got to be about business and entrepreneur stuff, or conspiracies, or my friend stuff. That's it.
I've got like the racing stuff and all that, and I'll listen to it. And then I've got some off the wall ones I'll listen to.
I didn't admit to anything here because then everybody will blast you at the table like they do me.
Oh, dude. No, mine are off the wall. Like, I just add the one that has Shane Gillis and the other guy. Just because I watched Shane Gillis' comedy special. I was like, dude, this guy's hilarious. I got to listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
So
I like listening to like the CIA people that have retired or come out as whistleblowers because some of the shit that goes on in the government is crazy.
No, the one that people will probably make fun of me for, and if you go on my podcast and or like when we were down there, like on my YouTube, like you'll see pro wrestling stuff, and that's because back in the day I was big into it with my grandpa and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like my cousin's kid and stuff, they liked it and all that. So like I still stay into like listen. I like the old school stories, the stuff from the old days and stuff like that. I'll listen to that shit.
Corey goes on eBay and buys his own wrestling belts.
Dude, I've gave away wrestling belts as trophies of races, man. That's
what do y'all think about the big AT&T signal is about? It could be 100 things. Who knows?
It could be something as minuscule as somebody tripped over a cord, or
I will say in 2022, I think it was 2022 or early 23, Andy Frisella said in 2024 they will test the cell signal like that early on in the year, and then when it comes closer to election, they're going to blame it on EMPs again, and then there'll be no service for the electorate or election, and then they'll deal with it. And so far, it's early on in 2024, and so far he was right that I'm not saying they're right like this was a test, but if they do this closer to election, 100%, that's what they were doing.
Well, all I know is for that day, Verizon was king. And T-Mobile.
And I had no problems.
Me either. That's how I woke up and I was reading all that, and I was like, huh? What?
But I mean, to me, if it was actually something they were trying to do, it would have been all of you. Right?
It would have been if they were trying to do something. That's how I looked at it. If it was a act of terrorism or anything like that, it would have been everybody been down.
What is their explanation of what happened?
I've never seen nothing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either. So I mean, it is suspicious, sure.
But I will tell y'all, I am the person that also doesn't. I don't really watch a whole lot of news or anything anymore. Like the most of the time, I'm like watching TV or something. I'm not really watching; it's just background noise. I'm working on like media stuff, or like tonight, I'll work on getting like the graphics made for the table, get all the event made, all that. I mean, I got to start working on like. I'm stoked that it's race season because now I get back in my routine. I get to work on my layovers, all that. I've got a big sponsor announcement for Spoold Media getting ready to come out. I got to get working on it. Just some cool stuff. I mean, but I stay so busy. And then like right now we're working on getting the house. We're going to start working on getting it done so we can put it on the market for sale so we can get moved to North Carolina and different stuff like that. Somebody's asked me like, how's that going to work out? And I said, well, I mean, I'm down here 9% of the time. So I said, the only time it'll suck is I was like, it's going to add a couple hours onto my drive to Kentucky and Ohio, but oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well, it just is what it is.
Like this weekend, that track we're going to, Brainerd at Limpy's flagging it. I've never been there, but it's always been a bucket list track for me because
where is that?
It's called Ringgold, Georgia. It's literally on the Georgia-Tennessee border, right by Chattanooga.
Okay.
And like my hotel's actually in Chattanooga. But I've never been to this track, but it was always a big track back in the day for like when Stevie Fast and all them running on 29.5s and the Outlaw 10.5 days. So that's how I know the track, but we're not even running on that part of the track. So it's back to the track deal. So I'm kind of looking forward. It's a place I've never been to, get the market off the bucket list type deal.
That's sort of what I did this year. There's a few more that I need to get to. I'm going to try this year for sure.
That one's this year's new. Checking off Yellow Belly. I've never been to Yellow Belly. I've got Edgewater down for a couple events. I've never been to Edgewater. Let me actually pull my schedule up. There's a couple new tracks other than those too. Like that's something I've wanted to do is like you said, I want to expand out. I've been to almost every track in North Carolina. So I've been to all that. And I want to take Spoold Media to different places. I mean,
I honestly thought you were from North Carolina.
Everybody does. Dude, I would go to a race and everybody's like, oh man, that must have been a long drive here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, you had to come all the way from North Carolina? I was like, nah, man, West Virginia.
We have a problem with this live.
Hey, at least the good thing is I keep getting those ads for StreamYard that says no matter what happens, it saves the file. So
yeah, there we go. Did we just look at all the comments coming in? So
yeah, they're starting to roll hard.
This is why we don't have any freaking viewers because it wasn't on public. I turned it on public, but it went back to whatever on its own. Look at all these comments. They just all come rolling in. Sorry, everybody. Damn it. Dude. I suck.
Hey, that's the good thing. He'll actually have it saved on Spotify. So if you didn't get to see the first part, you're good there.
Well, no, they could. Yeah, that's right. The people that didn't see it, but I mean,
yeah. They can go back and rewatch it too now that's public.
Yeah.
So, but like going over, like I said, I get to go to Wagler this year. I'm looking forward to going to Wagler. I signed up for media for the Purge. So I've never been to the Purge. I've never been to Wagler, so that looks pretty awesome. Man, I mean, I know Ken's doing a race at a track called Summer Duck in Virginia. I've never been to it. And everybody's like, man, don't you live close to that? Like, not really. It's 6 hours. That's what they'll always ask me, like, man, yeah, you're by that airport in West Virginia. I'm like, no, I'm not by that airport. They're like, what? I'm like, trust me. And they're like, oh, Street Outlaw Mo.
Hi.
Dude, he I don't know if he realizes it yet, but let's see. He's in the intro for the table. He's in the Spoold Media Live commercial for that wheel stand.
Mo is?
Yeah, doing that wheel stand at Cache Days of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best looking wheel stand. It's like, oh my God, he landed it perfectly. And then he comes down and the car's all straight and then he gets into the marbles. I'm like, oh shit.
The fucker drops his car off here and he's like, oh, we're going to do a tube front. Yeah, no problem. So I'm leveling the car off and I'm trying to get I bought these new stands so I could get more picky leveling cars instead of just kind of, as close as I can get it. Man, I spent like probably an hour and 20 minutes trying to level this car off. And I'm like, this fucking thing's got to be bent. Like, there's something bent here. But it ended up being like the actual stuff we cut off that was just a little off from the wheel. It must have hit when it did the wheelie. So everything from behind the strut tower back is pretty good, but everything forward was just a little shifted. So,
are you going to have his like ready again for Cache Days of Kentucky and all that stuff?
When's that?
That is the weekend. That's April.
Oh, I should have that done, but
like April 6th, I believe is the date on it.
It'll be tight. So
dude,
I got his engine stuff at the machine shop. So once it comes back,
as long as we don't have a tornado again this year, it'll be all right.
Man, I don't give a fuck. I'll drive through a tornado.
Dude, I remember I was at the hotel and I was just like, I'm trying to sleep, but it's like you can hear the wind, and I'm like, are they already racing? Am I at the track? My eyes just stayed open.
No, and here are me and Mo, the only people on the highway. Didn't see anything. It's torrential downpour. Just driving. No idea. You can tell we're not from Tornado Land.
Dude, I'm not from there, and I was like, dude, this is.
Yeah, see, he said like before we got on Nashville Highway or whatever, where you turn off the one and go Nashville to get like. We were probably doing 80, 85 mile an hour. It's raining, but we can still see. And then all of a sudden we come down this little spot and there's just water all across the freaking highway. Like no warning whatsoever. So I just plow that thing and he just keeps trucking. But
dude, I honestly, I don't care what the report is. I don't care if there's rain in the forecast, possibility, tornado winds, anything. I'm going to Cache Days of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I tell everybody that it's like, I know there's some cool races in Kentucky, but I'm like, that is the gangster of gangster races in Kentucky. If you ain't been to that one, you ain't really been to a race in Kentucky. It's still my favorite. I know the Bear Concrete race is going to be awesome. But at the same time, I also know Bear Concrete's going to get fast, and it just does not have that level of sketchiness that damn Cache Days of Kentucky has.
Yeah.
Which even though if Happy going to a light prep on it, it's still like
it's not
going to help it.
No, it helps just enough to pull the race off.
Yeah,
that's it.
It keeps the dust down.
Barely.
I mean, that's what I tell it. I was talking to somebody earlier, and they're like, "Oh, I'll get to see you at the Bear Concrete." I was like, "No, man, we go to Cache Days of Kentucky." I said, "That's the race," and now they've got internet down there. So I tried doing live feed last time. They let me use it, and it was acting screw with the Wi-Fi because where I had the box. But I know exactly what I need to do now, and I'm going to talk to them. I'll take my old trusty Ethernet cord that I've got plugged in here, all 200 foot of Ethernet cord, and I'm running that shit directly out of the box into the YOLO box.
I think it was you, me, and Happy before. I think it was before the semis in Cache Days 4, and we were like, "Man, today's great. Nobody's crashed." And then like the last race, Buddy just flips that LTD like 30 times at the end of the track.
Dude, and that's the race that also taught me to check my gear because, like, if anybody wanted a MacBook Pro, they could have caught one flying out of the window of the Hampton Inn in Elizabethtown because when I got back and seen that my audio was messed up on 2/3 of my clips, I was like, dude, icing on the cake.
and then you got chirped for it, too.
Dude,
we're like, I'm gonna unfollow your channel because your fucking shit sucks. Like, whoa, it happened one time. Relax.
And the thing was, in every video. It literally has audio is in and out. Audio may not be present.
Yeah.
It happened, people.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about these races doing it live. And if that happens, well, go watch the live. You can watch the replay. Which it's also made me think about doing 2 audio sources, which I've thought about, like just having a random ass camera, just going with the audio. Which now I can do that because where I've been running the cross cam at Happy's races, I can pull the audio just from the cross cam and just feed it right into that. So it'll be a lot more editing process, but we do have a backup plan now in case that ever happens.
Just in case, yeah. Well, sometimes you're gonna need that.
And you know what's crazy is the mic that did that is the same microphone I used on top of the yellow box at Dig or Die, and the audio was great.
Yeah, that's weird.
So there's just something about that day. There was some bad juju on me. I don't know. Between Happy losing his canopy, my audio sucking. Dude, it just wasn't our day.
Yeah. That was funny too, because we weren't doing nothing. We were just sitting around, and it was like Friday, and Mo had messaged me going, "Hey, what's up this weekend?" I said, "Oh, not much. What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, nothing." I said, he's like, "Oh, there's a race in Kentucky." I said, "Fuck, let's go." And then we ended up going. It's like, fuck. I had my car in the trailer. I had the trailer on the truck in 15 minutes. I packed a little bag, and on the road I went.
Like, it still amazes me in the sense of that people are so scared of that place. Like, it blows my mind. I'm like,
nah, it was so fun. It's so fun.
It's going back to people are wanting to do gangster shit till it's time to do gangster shit. Like, everybody wants to talk like I'm a badass on no prep till it's time to hit the no prep.
Let's not even get on that subject, because that's something that has been bugging me. You know, everybody is a bad motherfucker, and it's like they just bought this rusted out car and it's on jack stands. It doesn't have any rims or an engine in it, but you better look the fuck out. This motherfucker coming, and I'm gonna fucking get you. No, let's come back to reality here,
dude. In 2058, when that bitch comes off jack stands, you're all on notice.
It doesn't even matter. Like, I got guys that live near me here, and you know, I hear through the grapevines, like just in my town, that, oh, I'm building this car and I'm gonna come out and smash Trevor and this and that. It's like, well, you got about 5 years of data to catch up on. So you better get your shit going, and your little SBE whatever is not going to do shit in your street car. I'm sorry.
It was the same way back in the day with some of the stuff. There would be people, and there's a lot of people that hated on my shit and all that. And I was just like, well, I'm out here racing. Come on, whenever y'all feel
you at?
And the bad thing is some of those people that talk shit, like, still haven't even got anything going yet.
I was just going to say that. I got this one guy, and we've just butted heads for years and years and years. And I've heard nothing but fucking this and that, and pull your shit out. And then when I say, okay, let's go, he disappears, or I need a tire, or I need this or that. And it's like, the day that, even when we did race back in the day and I beat him every single time, it's like, it's going to be a 10-year process, and then he's going to beat me once, and holy fuck, the whole world turns upside down, you know, for him and me. And it's like, I beat that motherfucker. It's like, what happened to you the last 10 years?
And dude, what's crazy is, like, take for instance, like, even in the RC, like, you wouldn't think like the RC game there's smack talk and grudge and all that shit in the RC game. Like, my stupid ass, like, the car I was running bracket racing with, like, we've got our buddy Barry. Me and him go back and forth constantly, like, with wanting to grudge race and stuff. And I think we're like he's got 2 wins, I've got 2 wins, and we're always trying to get the rubber match off. Like, we were going to do it right after we were finished with the finals. I'm sitting there doing a burnout with my damn pinion just comes off, and I'm like, dude, it's just not meant to happen. We're just gonna be 2-2 for the rest of our life.
Yeah. I don't know. I live in a weird area, and I wouldn't say it's a weird area, but the car culture here is much different. It's like everybody here is into going to coffee culture, or coffee time, or whatever the hell they call it. And they, you know, the same meat spot twice a week with the same cars and the same people, and they don't really do anything. And I'm like, that's not my cup of tea. So
one thing I will say, like, we used to do that a lot, and I do miss, like, going and just doing the hanging out and stuff.
But We went cruising.
Too. Yeah,
yes,
I did more.
We got
than just
coffee, and then we went out for a cruise. We took the country scenic route. We got 3 or 4 races off. Then we went back and had more coffee. It's not like we just parked and like, oh my god, I want to be your friend.
Well, the thing is, like, the biggest thing is like a group of us. We used to always get together and we go eat. Like on like Saturdays when we weren't going to an actual race. Like when Spoold Media first started, like if you go back and look when Spoold Media first started, dude, it was like we were in the streetcar racing, doing stuff. Like we go eat, and then we go to the parking lot. You get the stuff set up in the parking lot, then have the first set of group go to check out everything, make sure the spot was clear, and then come back. They radio or not radio. They call like, yeah, come on down. We're gonna be back here so nobody sees us.
Take me back to that time, man. That was the funnest time. That's what got me into cars. Was like, doing all that.
I always tell people, and I said, it's cool as hell watching like the fast stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love watching like small tires and all that, but I said, dude, the funnest times ever is when we had high 6-second, low 7-second street cars, take them anywhere we want, and just pop off a race for shits and giggles, no matter what.
And we're talking 8th mile here.
Yeah.
not quarter mile.
No, we're not that cool yet, man.
Yeah,
tens.
I'm going to tell you, the most fun I ever had was running 1150s. And on the street, racing all your friends, running 1150s, like we.
Dude, when I went 1150 in the SRT 4 and drove it there and put slicks on, went 1150s and put street tires back on, drove back. You couldn't tell me shit.
I honestly miss those days, man. I had this conversation with Mike probably 2 weeks ago. Like, I want to go back to that.
I don't know how y'all's like forums and stuff were, but we've had this 100 times. I wish the forums would come back because, dude, we'd be on the forums and there'd be races getting set up, all kinds of craziness. Like the
BW's Vortex is what I was on, and fuck, you got chirped like a motherfucker on that one.
Dude, we were on we had SRT forums, West Virginia Motorsports.
Yeah.
There was a couple others, and dude, all the smack talk through the week, you can watch it culminate and go back. And I loved it better than Facebook. Facebook's just too much now. With you can sub branch off of a comment and this. Now I love forums where you're like, you just hit reply and like everything, and everybody had their own signature and had their car name and badass like,
and how fast they went in the bottom and
dude, and all that and like, and then Friday would come around. That was first night, and then some people couldn't come out on that night, so you'd have just a few people. Then Saturday night, everybody's out on Saturday night. And like I know people, like you said, take about time. Like I have missed it. Like now they have more cruise-ins and stuff here. It would always be cool because you're taking the newer stuff, all this, and you got the old guys, the old gearheads, the double hump head cars, hopping over a Coke can type shit, and it's like you get. I love shit like that, I guess.
You can tell as a car culture, we've kind of lost all that because now it's like, oh my God, drag and drives are so cool. We did that. That's what we did. We drove everywhere.
Like my Mustang, that's what I always loved about my Coyote car was it's 3.5 hours from my house to Shady Side. I drive it 3.5 hours on drag radial, skinnies on the front, pull into the track, change my air pressure, take like my jack, all my extra stuff out of the car,
in the trunk,
race it.
Yeah.
Well, here I want to tell you how bougie I was with that shit too. So I had a set of Nitto 555R drag radials that I drove to the track on. When I got to the track, I put on the Street Pros. Yeah. I raced on the Pros, and then like the bigger serious stuff, I'd race on the Pros and do that. Now there's times I did drive on the Nittos, the 555Rs there and race on them and then come back.
Oh, they were Nittos, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love those 555Rs.
The Toyos got 555s too, don't they?
Not 888R.
Oh, that's right.
Which Toyo tire.
I was gonna say, like back in the day, how our pits looked was I would roll in, I'd pull the jack out of the car, my spare tires out of the car, my slicks, and all my shit would be laid out right in front of the car on the ground. And then I would go race. Then by the time I was going home, I'd switch the tires and drive the bitch home. Go 1150.
Dude, we had they have this big event in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee called Rod Run.
I was thinking this one right here, Corey. You see that one? I'm not even gonna post it because this is good. I was thinking this. Robert.
Yeah.
We could set something up like that where it keeps track of all the events and where we're gonna be at, and I've thought of that.
You're such like an earthquake.
What?
Tyler McIntyre, picture a bougie Sasquatch looking Earthling. But dude, that's like Pigeon Forge. They have this big thing called Rod Run, and I went down there and I had my car on the 555R drag rails, and Houston had his on the Gym 1 ET streets that had just kind of like the round lines in it. And we're driving back and it's raining. I'm doing like 65, 70. I'm like, dude, these 555Rs are the shit. I can do normal speed on them in the rain, plus go race on them. And I'm up there watching Houston on the ET streets, like changing lanes and all this. I'm like, but dude, he got me back for that. I rode with him once back from Motor Mile, and there's kind of like a little back way to a smaller highway to come back from Motor Mile for us where he's at. Well, he's on ET Street Pros, and we're in his Coyote car coming back, and it had rained. So we're hitting wet roads and ET Street Pros. Dude, I've never shut my eyes, held onto the old shit bar, and just knew like this is it. This is it. This is the time. I'm done.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So, I will never tell people to drive constantly on drag rails if the weather is bad, but if you are, the 555Rs are great.
Yeah, use at your own risk.
Yes. Like, try to not go as fast and they're fine. Now, there was a couple moments on the 555Rs that kind of got a little stupid, but in decent, not like downpour, it was okay. Which, dude, even when I had I daily drove it, I had the 20s on it for the car. So even if it rained really hard and stuff, even with the 20-inch, the extra normal tires on it, dude, it was still a nightmare. I'd pull over and just chill out for a little bit.
Yeah. I miss those days. Really.
Dude, that's what I would kill just to go back with what I know now to those times and be able to do some stuff.
I think I wish I could go back and just enjoy it for what it was, not realizing that was going to go away. You know?
Yeah. And that's what sucks is because like, so when we sold our family businesses and stuff, and I still had the cars and stuff, but I started with a different job. And when I started that job, I got rid of the fun car and I went to kind of a basic car, but I was still traveling a lot. And I ended up getting rid of it because like it was fine and all that, but that's when I got sick and all that. And I needed something that I could haul more stuff in. So now I've got the Explorer, and I'm like, man, I used to have like awesome Mustangs and stuff like this. And I said, now I'm rolling stepdad in the Explorer. It's a 4-cylinder turbo, so I get my little sound every now and then.
Upgraded water valve.
But it's been on my mind about, and that's where the kind of the RC drag racing comes in. It kind of fills that void of being able to get back out there and do some form of racing.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, right now, if I could go back and literally like, if I didn't want to grow my brand and grow Spoold Media to be even bigger than what it is with the coverage and all that, I would probably have another like 11, 12 Coyote car like I had, or a 13, 14, and just with what we know and what we can do now, like I had a Vortec blower set up on my stuff, and I'd probably go for like a single turbo now, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Keep it simple.
Yeah, just in the tuning wise, I'd make it to where I could have E85 or pump 93, because I'm still a big pump 93 person. I don't care what anybody says. Even my car then, everybody was still switching. I was on pump 93, could get gas at any place I needed to and still go 630, 640s. I was happy. And be able to get in that thing, have satellite radio, heated air conditioned seats. Like, even though like my nice leather seats in the back had a tire sitting in the middle of.
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool. That's what I like. And that's, even though the weight disadvantage and all, I still love modern muscle cars. So, but like, that's me. Or you could be just like Chris and Simulator. Dude, I can't knock Chris because I play Xbox Dirt Track and drag racing stuff. I really want to get into Beam NG. That shit looks cool. Dalton, so I would love an F-150 with a blower or a turbo setup. Like, but I actually, what was it? I test drove one of the Power Boost EcoBoost trucks, and it would have been coming home with me, but as anybody that's went and looked at cars or anything knows, they're out of their mind with these percentages right now. So the Explorer's doing just fine.
I agree with that. That's for sure.
Like, I had a whole like outlet planned after Cash Days at the Hill, like camper truck. I need a truck anyways. I think a truck would be better if like the towing the golf cart and all that. But just kind of had the whole plan, and then actually I seen how out of whack like everything was on like interest rates and all that stuff, and I was like, well, let me just tone it back. I guess I'll just what I'm doing's working, so there's no it's not broken, doesn't need fixed. Yeah, it sucks.
Well, it's like I said, that's why do I need all this stuff? You know, I got all this stuff. No, liquidate, stick to what's been working, and just go from there. So,
yeah. I mean, I saw what was it, the mini toy haulers, which looks cool, but the price is crazy on them. But it's like the size of like a small enclosed, kind of like Chris's, but it's literally got everything. Well, it might be, it's a little bit bigger actually, but it has everything that a toy hauler has. You have a bed in there, a small bathroom, a small kitchen type thing. And it all folds up so you can pull like a golf cart or a side by side or some stuff in. I was like, that would actually probably be good.
The only thing, like myself, I need something. If I'm going to buy something new or another trailer, it's got to have a shower in it.
Yeah, and that's what these. I just sent you the link to these. It had all that, and that's why I was like, that's cool because it's compact. It's not the biggest thing in the world, and that's the problem because when I first went and looked at campers, I looked like a 30-footer that had like 2 recliner theater seats in it, big TV, all this, and I'm like, damn, this is awesome. And I was like, but I don't know. I've got so many plans like with moving and all that.
We all do.
So. And like literally, this is probably like if you look, what is it? I'm backwards. Like there's cases over here, there's cases of stuff over. I'm in the middle of like, I've got some gear I need to sell. I'm just going through everything. Like, if anybody needs some Nikon photo gear, hit me up because I'm about to sell a bunch of it.
You don't want to see my office. My office is destroyed. I don't spend a lot of time in here. I spend time on Wednesday and whenever else I do another podcast. Otherwise, there's paperwork everywhere.
That's the thing. Like the office is the room that's over there, and it's got shit boxed up, RC stuff, extra stuff. So I can't do nothing in there. So I've had to move actually the podcasting and everything to the bedroom. Yeah. That's what I said when Alex made that comment. Yeah, no green screen tonight. Like I know you can do the whole backwards, but it looks so digitized. It looks like crap. Yeah. That's what I've noticed is going through the banks the best way now.
Yeah, and I never even thought of that before, but I'm definitely gonna, if I decide to get a newer truck. I don't think I will because my truck's just fine, but
it's so crazy because it's like you hear, like you see in like all these new advancements and all this, and you think, man, it must be good. But then you hear horror stories of what people's got going on with vehicles and the newer vehicles, and I'm like, shit, mine's doing good. It ain't let me down. So.
You know what I miss? I miss a heated steering wheel and heated seats.
So that's like, those are 2 musts. Air conditioned seats, I can take or give.
Yeah.
But I have to have heat because of my back and everything like that. Like, dude, that's how I know I'm getting old. Like, I gotta go to the doctor now on Thursday because I messed up something in my right ankle up to my right knee, and I gotta get checked before I get deep into the season. Like it's got like
my shoulder is what's been bugging me for a few months. It's just starting to bug me again. So I don't know. I got something wrong in here, like where it connects or something. It might be the rotator cuff, but
we're getting OLD, son.
Dumb. But yeah, I miss heated seat because I had a 14 Ram 2500, the Laramie. It was a nice truck. Like that was when the interiors really got good in those trucks. So it was black on black on black. And I'm having a very hard time not going and put myself in debt to get a mega cab dually. Black, Laramie, heated, all that shit. Like I want like a 2014 to a 2018 though. I don't want none of the new shit.
That's when I test drive, that's one of the brand new power boosts. And like I'm stupid with what I like. I like having a big screen, like for all that stuff. The built-in, like I like the features like the GPS and the satellite radio, all that shit. I like that stuff. And
the reason why I want a mega cab is because we travel so much, and when the guys come with you, they got the recliners and they got room for all their shit and coolers, and I mean I got room for that in the trailer and stuff, but it just makes it more comfortable for everybody.
Yeah, that's me.
Small cab gets warmer. Yeah.
I was looking because honestly, as much as I want a truck, with what I do, an SUV is still probably the better choice. But I just need a bigger SUV, and that's I don't really want to step up to the Tahoe Yukon game because like GM's got those priced out the world, and
Yeah.
Explorer, I know they're getting ready to like they've redid some stuff on the Explorer. It's got some more room, but I'm also the type of person that I watch out for the people if there are some that ride with me. Like mine that I got now's got the captain's chairs, all that, and all that. And like I think the new Explorers, that's all you have to add. All that's a bench seat. And I'm like, yeah, I've rode enough things to know I don't like bench seats, so I don't want to if anybody's with me. But 9 times out of 10, I got gear back there anyway, so nobody's with me.
I got a car in 2020 and went through my bank, got 2% interest for 3 years.
That's when I got my Explorer, and I think I'm at 3%. And when I went to try to get the truck over this past summer, like the lowest they would quote me at the like through Ford Credit, that's who I'm through with the Explorer, was like 9.8%. I'm like, no way in hell.
Yeah, so that's what's stupid because I don't want a new one, I can't get low interest really, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be 6 to 9% interest on a used vehicle, and it'll be like 0 to 3.5% or 3.99% in Canada here for a new vehicle. But I don't want new vehicle problems. I see all my buddies with these new trucks, man. There's nothing but problems with the DEF shit and just all sorts of shit.
And I talked to one of our RC buddies, and his son has got one of the EcoBoost Mustang Performance Package cars, and it's like a 22 or 23. He said he's literally maybe drove it for a month or two. It's constantly in the shop with some issues.
And I have my buddy, he's like, oh, fucking Dodges. So long story short, I was a Chevy guy, right? I owned a couple Fords when I was out west because that's all I could afford at the time, and it was a decent truck. I bought my Dodge by a fluke, my first Dodge, which was an 0759 Cummins, and because I was moving home, loaded all my shit up, towed it home. By the time I got home, I was like, I won't buy another truck unless it's a Dodge. Like, it drove good. It doesn't, like, the thing with Chevys that pissed me off is every time you hit like a bump or a train track or something, the thing skips across the road. You know what I mean? It's just always like rear end happy like that. But I don't know.
That's like we had a GMC Yukon and I liked it, like the roominess and all that stuff, and it was awesome. It was a Denali package, so it had every option you wanted. But it's kind of like, I didn't like, they rode stiff. I just wasn't like the hugest fan of them. Like my Explorer, love it. See, I'm a Ford person. I like their vehicles.
I don't mind. Like, I hate to say that. I had a couple, like I said, I had a couple Ford pickups. I had a bunch of Chevy pickups and Toyota pickup and Dodge pickup. But now I'm not going to buy just a regular Dodge. It's got to have a Cummins in it. I won't buy a Dodge if it's gas.
I've never been a diesel person at all, but if I ever buy a diesel truck, it's going to be a Cummins.
Yeah.
It's not just if you could just take it and get the best of what the diesel world, the Cummins motor with the Allison transmission, and just there's some way you just get the worlds to cross over.
A lot of people said that 68 RFE was a problem transmission. So when I got my 14, like, people need to understand how I am. If I buy something, I search my ass off to figure out what 3 problems are the worst problems with a truck, and I fucking correct them. What's the fix, right? That's the first thing I'm going to do when I get something. So when I did that, I found a place called Calibrated Power, and the biggest downfall with the RFE was the valve body and the transmission tuning.
Yeah.
So I did the valve body, did the transmission tuning, and I'd fucking boost launch that thing with the enclosed on the back of the car in the trailer, and I never had a problem with it ever.
Yeah, and people laugh, but when I used to when I raced like my 4-cylinder and stuff, when we pulled the open bed, my dad had a Nissan Titan, and I pulled with that, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're really gonna pull with a Titan?" I was like, "Dude, that thing was a beast. It did everything I needed for it to be a gas truck. No issues ever out of it. Anything."
One time, my one buddy that was chirping my truck, he's actually the guy I did the Nissan for, the purple one, the S15. He bought this fucking Excursion, and he was just talking about how fast this diesel Excursion was and all this. And one night we were coming back, and I had a 20-foot enclosed at that time, and we got on the highway, and I just it was all tuned up, right? My truck we were side by side, and all of a sudden I just started pulling on him. Just like that, with the trailer in the car, and he only had the Excursion. He's like, "Oh, motherfucker."
Shit, I know. It's after 8. Mike's probably gonna kill us now.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Shit, we can
should.
do it.
We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, we can do more. Hell, like
part
we get
3.
more into race season, and that's when we can get some real talking. Because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, being a promoter, you see a lot, and being a media person, you see a lot. There's always some good stories from the tracks.
I have some ideas, so I would like to maybe have you on again, and we'll do an idea, something like, watch a couple things and maybe commentate and get ideas and all that stuff. And
like, dude, like how we were doing that on the table, and Tickle Fitz was able to live feed from Georgia this past, like that little bit, dude. That was awesome. That's people actually getting to hear what we think about it and all that. I like that stuff, man.
Me too.
There's a lot of shit I watch that's what people does, and you just get a different opinion. Like somebody higher in the industry's talking about something, it makes you see some shit.
Secrets. No, I'll let everybody know here soon. There's a few people that know, but it's not mine. It's a few people's. So
like going back to like what you're saying, like literally, and I'm into the season now where Sundays are traveling or editing day, or if I'm at the house, like shit, I'll just do this while I'm editing. So
yeah.
You need to crash Mike's live stream.
No, see, Mike is weird because he won't send the link to get on until he's ready to put you on there. Like you send it out like, in the morning, and then I have to scroll back through the 100 messages I got. I'm like, where the fuck is that link? But
half the time I forget. I've been getting bad about that. Like I've got to wake up and I'm like an hour before. Oh shit! No, I've actually been on top of it past couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, that's good. No, you do a good job. We need Limpy to teach us how to do all this fancy shit with StreamYard, though. How to do all this and add videos.
That's the thing. As long as Limpy's on ours, we're good. Because I just send him a link. Hey man, you do this.
Yeah.
I'll just host it.
Mike had a way where he actually uploaded full videos somehow, and I don't know how he did that.
I know how to do like that end where you can do that stuff, but it's like the other stuff, like I had to switch to Google to be able to do some stuff. I've got 3 web browsers now on my MacBook just because I need something to run StreamYard. And Safari, I use it for my emails and stuff like and uploads. And then Mozilla's there in case those 2 fail. So yeah, we can do some more, and we'll get another part once we get more into race season.
Yeah, that's right. Where can people find you?
Huh?
Where can people find you?
So if you're looking for me, look about usually either on the starting line or 200 foot down a racetrack. But online, if you want to find us, YouTube, Spoold Media. They've changed it now, so they made it easy. So it's just at Spoold Media on YouTube, or if you just look up Spoold Media in the search bar, it'll pull you straight to it. Instagram, Facebook, everything, TikTok, Spoold Media. Personal Corey Stamper, which y'all know half the time I answer better on my personal than anything because I don't get updates from Facebook messages or any of that stuff on the Spoold Media page, it seems.
And our newly started
table
page.
We gotta get everybody sharing on that too. I haven't checked it. I think I've made one post on it, and that was it to say it was open.
We should do a little giveaway or something.
I need to add like the editors and stuff so it can actually be going. But we run the live through it too. I've got set up to where we can run the live through it.
Okay, perfect. So,
but
all right.
I'm pretty easy to find. If not, you're not at a racetrack, I guess, or something. So
you know where to find me. So.
And on Wednesday nights, sometimes on Tuesdays, just depending on what we got going on.
That's right.
But yeah.
All right. Well, good talk. And until the next one. And thanks, everybody.
All right, everybody. See y'all.
See y'all.